Hello everybody and welcome back to the Crooked Hour. I know what you're thinking. If you're a subscriber of this channel, one of the 47 subscribers I have, you're like, why are you doing Misfits? The YouTubers, you know, you're a UFC channel. I'm branching out. I like Misfits. I'm not scared to say it. It's entertaining. It's fun. That's literally what it is. It's just a bit of fun, you know. This is the whole thing that started me into combat sports. KSI versus Joe Weller, that was the rocket ship that got me into UFC, boxing, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, I thought, why not? I like these events, they're fun. So why not start making videos? So today, I'm going to be going over each winner and loser, Faze Temperr, and who they should fight next in the Misfits. Shout out to MMA Guru because he is who inspired this idea for me. I know a bunch of people do it, but he's just who I've seen do it. We're going to start off with Idris Virgo. Who should Idris Virgo fight? As you know, he had a very dominant performance against Pretty Boy Taylor. And I'm just going to start the belt. I don't know if he will keep fighting in Misfits. He's like, you know, you get those guys in Misfits where it's like, will they fight again, or was it just a one-off thing? And for Virgo, it might be a one-off thing, but if there's something he wants to stick around and do, he should fight somebody who's never lost before and a YouTube boxer, but also a good boxer in JMX. I think that's a good fight. They're both in the same weight division or close to. I feel like Idris will win, but JMX will put up a good fight. And if JMX wins, I mean, that really puts him in a big spot. And if he loses, it's kind of like, oh, well, at least we'll get to see what JMX is made of and know where to put him in after that, because he's kind of got easy fights in his career so far, I believe. Alright, next up we've got Pineda. You know, had the big win over B-Dave. The finish, very, very good performance. You know, he's still got a lot of holes in his game that I feel like a lot of these people could exploit. Like Slim could probably exploit, Salt Pappy could exploit. Temperr could probably exploit, but who he fights next, it's going to give two of them away, but he should fight Swarms next. Why am I saying Swarms? Because they both lost to KSI in the fight, both had a win. I mean, it's a nice story, you know. One of them keeps the redemption going, one of them loses the redemption. And it's a good fight. I mean, Swarms looked good for that little short period we seen. He was faking out the body shot, throwing out the double jab. He had nice feints. And Pineda, you know, he looked good too. So I feel like it would be a good fight, and also just to see where both of them are at. And plus, good storyline. That's the main thing. And for Swarms, I've got Pineda, obviously. For Elle Brooke, had the big KO win in the first round. Didn't see that coming. I thought she was going to actually lose. So this fight's the only fight that needs to happen. I don't want to see another fight. Elle Brooke versus Astrid Wet is the fight to make. They were meant to fight in the past on that Kingpin event. It got a bit too raunchy for Astrid Wet, so she pulled out. But now it's on Misfits. Better environment, safer environment, more eyes on them as well. I feel like this is a fight to make. They both on a first round KO, or was it second round for Astrid? I'm not sure, but they both got KOs early. I'm just not sure if Astrid wants this fight because she's saying stuff about weight, like, oh, she's going to have to come all the way down to her weight. When they were scheduled to fight before, why don't they just fight at the weight they were meant to fight at before? Doesn't make any sense. But yeah, this is the only fight we really want to see out of these girls. Like, we don't want to see them fight anybody else. Just do this fight, and then we can start looking at other people. Salt Pappy. He had a big win over Josh Bruckner. That's his name. Good performance. Second round just shows how good Salt Pappy is. He's really good, really good. And I feel like he smashes this matchup. I feel like he knocks Kenny out, but I feel like this is the matchup to make. They're talking about it on the broadcast. Kenny's like, I'd beat Salt Pappy with my jab, and then he's like, he doesn't want this fight. Kenny doesn't want this fight. But, you know, it's the fight they're pushing towards. It's the most likely fight that's going to happen out of everybody else. I don't see Salt Pappy fighting KSI. KSI would be scared to do that fight. Not a big name for the reward. So I think King Kenny versus Salt Pappy is the fight that's going to get made, and I feel like Salt Pappy wins. And I feel like King Kenny loses. But it'll be a good test. Slim. Now, Slim's a hard one because, I mean, there's probably somebody else out there that I just couldn't think of. But I was trying to think of people actually already on the Misfits scene. And I was thinking, well, there's not really anybody else like KSI. It's not KSI. You're going to see who I get for KSI later. And JMX wouldn't be a bad one. But I feel like if I had to do a little fight with somebody who's already fought in Misfits and got a win, pretty good win too, they look decent, and I could see him actually being a bit of a challenge for Slim if they trained a fair bit, and that's Buckingham. He had the big win over Ice Poseidon, looked pretty good. He did get hit a little bit, so I mean it's a bit concerning. I don't think he is on Slim's level. I feel like it's another win for Slim, but at least it boosts Slim, and it's kind of like he's fighting a guy who's already proven himself in Misfits with a win. So it's not like you're just bringing somebody out of nowhere. Also good for Buckingham because it boosts his name a little bit. And if Buckingham somehow pulls off the upset, which he can, he's a very physical guy. He's trained jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. Yeah, could be a good fight. And I feel like that's a fight to make if all the other big names are unavailable. Put Buckingham in there with Slim. Another win for Slim, and Buckingham can kind of, put up a good fight. Next up, Faze Temperr, the loser of the main event. Who should he go against? Blueface. Now, this fight was meant to happen back in the day, but it got pulled out because Blueface was like fighting his girlfriend or something. But that's cleared up now. It's just that Christian Rock's crazy. She's crazy. Blueface might have done a bit of bad stuff, but I think it's more cleared up now, and I don't think it would hurt their name to have Blueface on the card now. Faze Temperr needs an easier opponent, Slim. Then he fought Overt Flow. Then he fought KSI. So he's 1-2 in his last 3 fights. Blueface, winnable fight for Faze Temperr. But if Blueface wins, it also boosts his name up into Misfits as well, which is... Then you start looking at matchups like Blueface versus Kenny, Blueface versus Slim even eventually maybe. Like you start looking at these names, and Blueface name is as bigger as ever really now. So makes sense to me. Makes good sense to me. That's the fight to make if they can get Blueface back in Misfits. And if Blueface still wants it, that's a good fight. It's already been hyped up once, so I mean it kind of talks for itself. And KSI the Nightmare with the first round knockout over Faze Temperr. Who should he fight? Woodley. I don't want to see any other fight. I don't want to see him fight Slim. I don't want to see him fight Joe Fourier. I want to see him fight Woodley. That's the fight, most hyped fight, I feel like. Gets him the closest to Jake. Good challenge, most hyped, gets him closest to Jake. Those 3 things is why this fight should be made. And we've seen Tyron Woodley in the second fight test Jake. So if KSI can go out there and KO Woodley in the first or second round, I mean, that's a massive statement. And yeah, they'll have a similar opponent they can kind of compare. Because up until now, they don't have any similar opponents, so you can't really compare. But if he fights Tyrone Woodley, you can kind of compare what they did to Tyrone Woodley. Joe Fourier, he's an actual boxer, but he's not as big of a name as Tyrone Woodley. Surely might give KSI a bigger test, but then people are going to say, oh, imagine what, say if he has a hard fight with Joe Fourier, people are going to say, oh, but imagine what Jake Paul would have done. Imagine what Jake Paul would have done. So at least with Tyrone Woodley, we can exactly compare it. But for instance, if KSI has a hard-fought win and gets the decision, I mean, kind of puts the fight down a bit. So it's a risky one, but this is boxing. This is the game of risk. This is the risk you have to take. So these are all the matchups I want to see in the future. There's some that are a bit iffy, like the Slim and Buckingham fight and the Idris Virgo, because I just don't think he's going to stick around. But yeah, I tried to keep it for people that are in Misfits, so that's why there's only 2 people that aren't in Misfits. So yeah, this is my list. Let me know what you want to see below. Let me know who you want to see versus each other, and let me know if you want more Misfits videos, because I mean I'm branching out. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. And as always, guys, have a good one.